police officers face some of the most dangerous and demanding situations imaginable in their line of duty. Although their duties are very essential to society, they can be very strenuous to those in the profession. Compounding their predicament is some of the poor working conditions they face within the service. This causes emotional and physical strain to them sometimes. In the past 2 months, 3 officers have committed suicide. A police officer shares his experience in the service and tells us what he believes are the causes of mental stress in personnel. His voice has been muffled to protect his identity.
With regards to the recent happenings in the police service, especially the suicide, it is real, but just that nobody cares about it. The first one I will talk about is stress. The officers, especially the junior ranks, are so stressed. They go to work 24 hours. The least is 12 hours without any single day off in a year. Moreover, what they are entitled to, which is the 42 days annual leave, is not granted to them when they request for it. You can write the entire 42 days to go and do other things and rest. But unfortunately, your commander can decide to give you only a portion out of it. It can be 10, 14, 15. But your 42 days leave, you cannot get it. Going to work without a single off day. If you complain, you have yourself to be blamed. So whether you are happy or not, all that you need to do is carry your gun and go to work. Another thing is, most of the officers, the senior officers, don't listen to you. You can have a genuine complaint, but all that they will tell you is they also came to meet it like that. So you to keep quiet and do it as you are told. Whether the thing is killing you or not, for them what they want to see is you are working. Another thing is uniforms or police equipment that you need not to buy, says by our own police laws, is no more. If you take your pay, you go and use it on your uniforms, your boots, your berets, and those things. And who betides you if you are not able to get these things? They, the big men again, worry you. A boot, normal desert boot or black boot, some cost 300, 400, 500. You will get those things, uniforms. Meanwhile, your salary is just a peanut. All these things are part of the depressions. Frustration left and right, but nobody cares. If you talk, they say keep quiet and suffer, because they came to meet it like that, so you to continue like that. Accommodation too is one of them. And also the petty allowances that are due police officers are not getting.
So you heard the police officer whose identity has been protected, and he shares what he believes are the causes of stress and mental health disorders among officers. Well, this situation has led the Inspector General of Police, James Apom-Buenu, to prioritize the welfare of officers. His first step in improving their mental health is through a 4-day mental health training program, and this is in collaboration with the Ghana Psychological Association.
Recent happenings of some senior and junior officers committing suicide are very regrettable. And this is a concern to the police administration. We need to find a solution to this. And this is one of the ways in which we can find that solution. But you, the commanders, are the front line. So first of all, you must take this cause seriously and ensure that you yourself, as the supervisors, do not fall victim to the stress and the very mischief that we want to overcome. It is emphasized that the counseling unit will serve as an appropriate avenue or channel for personnel to express their psychological concerns for appropriate redress. It is expected that the unit, which is staffed by competent personnel, will roll out a broad range of programs to improve psychological concerns of our personnel and help them to overcome their struggling state. The police administration anticipates that the counselors will focus on individual treatment as well as group therapy to help others in similar situations. This may help guide persons through the difficult transition or going from addict to functional personnel in the service.
Well, the Executive Council member of the Ghana Psychological Association, Dr. Erica Damfrikia-Dixon, explains the modalities of the training.
We would teach them about mental health, because people erroneously think of mental health as those who are half naked walking the streets. They must have a clear understanding of this to be able to identify when such matters come up. And then lastly, we will delve into suicidology or suicide so that they can understand this phenomenon and know what to do where such things are arising. We would also look at the human resource policing and mental health. Our objective in running this course, first of all, is to make them a little more knowledgeable about mental health, help them identify in themselves and in people under their command, and lastly, to help them destigmatize, because there's a lot of stigma with mental health issues because they don't understand. So we hope that this would do this for them and would enable them to be able to seek the mental health services, because now they are able to recognize in themselves.
Well, we'll be speaking to Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, GSP Sheila Abeye-Bachman, shortly. But Interior Minister Ambrose Derry says counselling will be reinforced while resources needed to ensure better policing are provided.
And you recall that when I appeared before the Appointments Committee, I did hint that we're going to build up the counseling department. And these are some of the events. But not only will it prevent them from dying, but it will also make them better police officers, to be able to think positively of the people they are dealing with. Because their mental state will determine whether they respect your human rights or not. And then, above all, will make them more professional so that they discharge their duties effectively, investigate things with a level mind and with expedition. So I think that holistically, it's going to make our police better police.
All right, so we have Superintendent Sheila Abeye-Bachman, Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, joining us for a discussion on this. Thank you so much for your time this morning, ma'am. Let's start off with that officer who spoke to us on condition of anonymity. This is his own experience he's sharing with us and what he believes are the major causes of depression or mental health disorders among police officers. He mentions the fact that they work for too long. We all know for a matter of fact that the police to population ratio is not the best. The police struggles in terms of the number of personnel as against the activities that you have to perform. How long do your officers work?
Thank you, and I hope you are not attributing suicide to conditions of service alone, because the excess makers are aware that it results from a myriad of factors.
I'm not the one saying this. I just want you to respond to one of your members who is alluding to this.
Sure, I am coming to that.
Okay.
Some of the concerns he raised are genuine, and they are concerns that are already known by the police administration. Mm-hmm. It is the reason why several actions are being taken to address the issues holistically. And so this workshop that we are referring to will make commanders better managers of personnel, such that if it is about managing the human resource, if it is about managing time, if it's about managing resources such as uniform, commanders will be better equipped to do that, so that we don't unduly overwork our officers, or we don't overwork our officers to the detriment of our health. So several actions, as you heard the Inspector General of Police say yesterday, which you have played to listeners, are ongoing. So yes, some of the concerns are genuine and they're part of the issues that are being addressed. Those that are perhaps not, for instance, if you talk about uniform, last year you yourselves reported widely that uniforms had been given to officers to the extent that although we had tailors and seamstresses, because we needed officers to have new uniforms early. They were also given money to go and get them sewn outside. So some of them, for instance, police population ratio, it will come with recruitment. Some of them are within the realms and ambit of the police administration to solve them immediately. But others also require advocacy and doing things gradually. So they're being addressed, and hopefully in a matter of a few days, we should have this addressed. The workshop actually will have cascading effects on all police officers nationwide. Commanders are better informed. Then junior officers who work under the commanders can also have the room to approach their commanders when they have issues and not bottle them up and just tell the media when it is the police that will have to solve the problems and not necessarily.
All right. And dear Superintendent, I beg your pardon, my question has not been answered. How many hours do your officers work, briefly?
It depends. The regulation that we work with says that we will work within 8 hours, but where the exigencies of the service requires, we work extra hours. So it depends on the duty that is being performed for a particular day or a particular period.
Well, and there's also the bit about unpaid allowances and accommodation. Can you briefly touch on that also?
You will have to be specific about what allowance is due a police officer that has not been paid.
Okay.
Because allowances that are due us, according to the duties performed and the ranks, are paid. So if you would have been specific on such allowance not being paid, then I could respond to it.
All right, finally.
But since we come up, we would look at it.
Okay.
If there are any allowances, our officers should come up and let us know so that we can.
Finally, are you supposed to provide accommodation for your police officers, and those who do not get the bungalows allocated to the Ghana Police Service, are they, for instance, given money to cater for the rent of other facilities they are able to get themselves?
Yes, Bernice. Accommodation for police officers is compulsory for the police administration to provide. That is why we have the concept of barracks. And for those who will not, it is not everybody who must be housed in a barracks. Some officers are not housed in a barracks for strategic reasons. But it's also, you know, that some people have also even debated that police officers, we should erase the concept of barracks accommodating police officers. But the good news is that if you are not in a barracks, you can find your own rent and then you'll be paid your rent allowance. There are also some accommodation facilities that are rented by the police service, and we put our officers there as though they are part of the police housing facility.
All right, okay. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. That's Superintendent Sheila Beye Bachman. She's Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service.